Hello, thank you for joining me here at Bert's Books. I really have nothing very specific tonight. I'm kind of still just contemplating the decimation of my views, of my stats that YouTube's recent, what do you call them, algorithm tweaks, the mayhem that has wrought on my stats is just beyond belief. I mean, yeah, sorry, I know I've gone on about all this already, but considering up till the end of last year, I was getting routinely, sometimes 150 views a day on my best performer and 50 on my second best performer. Okay, no, not always as good as that every day, but, at a high point, I'm lucky if I'm getting 5 a day on either of them now. And the stats from yesterday has shown me there's almost 24 hours of nothing since yesterday afternoon, which has kind of left me wondering why I'm doing this. This happens at the same time as they put up that silly, hey, it's your channel's birthday, just think where you'll be in a year. They give you all that and then just destroy your fucking views. I'm so annoyed. I'm curious, is anyone else getting this? And I'm sort of doing a little looking around. I can't figure out, all right, there's always these tweaks and there's these advice videos about what to do, blah, blah, blah. But, I've had similar before, but never this extreme. So, is there any point in me sticking to my remit? I might as well talk about something else. Any ideas? All right, I have some ideas. Idea number 1, taste testing, a taste testing video. How about taste testing your stock of paranoid doomsday emergency rations, your paranoid dog foodie tinned rations. Now, I'm probably not the worst offender with these, but I do have a little bit of a stash. Probably a lot of it's out of date. Our opinion varies whether that's safe or not. I've seen videos of people opening up old Vietnam rations and eating them in front of the camera, so who knows? But anyway, how would a Sainsbury's chili con carne, expiry date 2019, how would that measure up against what's this? Sainsbury's veggie curry. I think that tin's rusting actually. What's that series where the it all goes wrong with these? Is it the Terror? It's one about one of those sort of Arctic expeditions, and it's the early days of canned goods, and they're sealing it with lead, so everyone gets this lead poisoning and people's teeth start rotting and things. I think it's the Terror. That was quite a good series, if you've ever seen that. It was a bit hard to find. I think it went up on the BBC platform in the end. But anyway, so that's another, what is that? 2020, maybe? Can't read that. Anyway, remember these? These used to... I used to enjoy these as a kid. I imagine it's one of the things that you liked it as a kid, and if you try it now, it's probably kind of a bit mushy and sloppy. I don't know, but I remember these sort of take ages to cook. You get this... It sure remind me of a landmine, like one of those old wartime German Teller mines. If you painted that sand brown, if you painted that Dunkelgelb, it would pass as a reenactor's German mine, perhaps. I don't know, where do I get these ideas from? Anyway, I think this one, I don't know if they still do these, but this one from 2018 that expired. Say the tinned mild beef curry. I remember actually I tried one of these a little while ago, and it was nice in a way that you remember those boil in the bag ones you used to get? That was my kind of student diet, that sort of thing. You get this kind of 99p boil in the bag, these sachets, and you got, and for some reason the curry never quite tasted like curry like you'd get in a restaurant. It had its own particular, you know, kind of idiosyncratic taste to it. But I quite like that, and this is similar. It's got that kind of, it's a bit of a, it's a slutty meal, all right? You feel a bit cheap and dirty for doing it, but it's so good. So I see that I start, I was like, I fall into these things. Just here we go. Now I'm now making taste test videos on canned goods. Let's see if that gets me any views. Next idea, alcoholic drinks cabinet reaction videos. Now, I've always said mean things about reaction videos. They always seem to me the most unnecessary, silly type of content, but I'm not above doing them. So, you know, I could be doing reaction videos to drinks cabinet, you know, struggle to call it a recipe, but or indeed a cocktail. But this is Havana Club rum with Old Jamaica Diet ginger beer. So good. Oh wait a minute, I spoke too soon. I've got 2 views this hour, 2, which kind of beats the sort of 22-hour stretch from yesterday till this afternoon. You're spoiling me, YouTube, really. 2. Or I could just switch to music completely. You know, that wouldn't be hard. I could do that. I don't know if that would pull viewers in, but anyway, what have I been listening to? Well, this week has been my week for Live Skull, who are sort of back from the void. I don't know if you're not aware of them. They were one of these bands from that kind of post new wave New York scene, that sort of no wavy noise punk sort of scene in the 80s, and I shamefully missed my previous last chance to see them, which was in March, I think, of 1989. You know, I was a little 20-something nomad. I was a nomad. Going into Brookside mode there. I was a little 20-something in those days, and finally they split up shortly after that. So I thought I'd never see Live Skull. I mean, various members went on to be in other things. Their old singer Talia went on to be in a wonderful band called Come, who I've been lucky to see a number of times, but I'd never seen Live Skull, but they kind of reactivated in the last few years, and a version of them got out touring again, and they finally came to London last week and played in the New Cross, played in a place called the New Cross Inn, and they were just wonderful. And the new recordings, I've picked up some of the new stuff. This has been released by a label called Bronson Recordings. I don't know if that's inspired by Charles. I'd like to think so, but you know, it's quite unusual. A lot of people reform. You know, sooner or later, public opinion swings back in their favour, and an offer comes or something. But it's not so often that bands reform and maintain that kind of creative something that they previously had. And Live Skull have pulled this off, really. The new stuff is, you know, it sounds very much like them, but it's fresh as well. It's you know, it's music for now. You know, they've pulled that off rather well. So that's me with music this week. You know, I could talk about, I could make this about other hobbies. Why don't I? Well, you know, if I had a proper fish room, I could make this I'd make a tropical fish channel. I've only got one tank. I can't really swivel the camera to show you at this point, but I've got, it's about 60 litres, so I'm limited in what I can have in there. I've got a few erythromicrons, I think they're called. They're these little rasboras that look like miniature mackerel. And I've got a pair of golden-eyed acaras, or Nanacara anomalous, as I believe they're known scientifically, who are kind of exhibiting breederish behaviour, but aren't quite getting down to it. I keep sort of having these moments of, you two need to get a room kind of thing, but they never quite get there with it. I'm told it's a bit of a learning process, that the first few, if they achieve a first few litters, it's a bit of a faulty process, that they gradually get the hang of it and start producing little clusters of babies. Supposedly has not happened yet, but the female colours up really nicely, actually. It's one of those species where the dimorphism between the genders is quite marked, and the female, when she gets a little bit breederish, and it is spring, let's face it, so she takes on this incredible kind of checkerboard pattern, and it's quite impressive. I've got any footage I can edit in maybe, but yeah, there's that. I do have a few old tropical fish textbook sort of things. One's a Blandford Press one. If you know the Blandford Press titles, it was this great old publishing house for reference books. Back in the 70s and the early 80s. I don't know when they finished, but well, maybe they're still there. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't noticed anything new by them in many, many years. But they used to be, they'd do these wonderfully illustrated reference books, and I do have some of those about fish and many other things. I did a lot of military-related titles and blah blah blah. Yes, it is. I won't say spring, but it's late winter. Yes, we're seeing the signs. The blossoms are out there. There's a little pond near me in a little garden, public garden sort of place, where all the frogs have appeared this week. So there's this big mess of spawn, and there's this kind of Caligula orgy type of situation of randy little frogs all croaking away. It's like a purr they make, rather than just like in a cartoon, like a bullfrog kind of. It's more like this kind of purr that they make. And so it's the common, what's known as the common frog here, is a Rana temporaria. One of the more usually spotted amphibians in this country. We're not over blessed with them here, but they seem to do weirdly well in urban situations. I don't know, it's because in the countryside maybe fertilizers have decimated them, or chemical things, or I think there's been this fungus thing that has, maybe they're safer in towns than in the country from, I think this fungus has kind of decimated the amphibian population in this country to some degree. But they're certainly doing quite well in this part of town. But it does seem to be the proportion of males to females is a bit off, I will say that. So, which is a bit unfortunate if you're a lady frog. I saw one today. It looked like it might have been kind of asphyxiated by the over-eager boys clutching it. But anyway, books. So I suppose I'll talk about books. I mean, I've got a few things on the go, or a few things I've recently finished that they're probably things that merit a dedicated video rather than just me guffing off at random. I'll try and script them to some degree and do a structured. I think these are titles that I think would merit that, assuming that's going to do me any good on YouTube at the moment. I mean, I've kind of, maybe, what do people think? Are we switching to Vimeo or something now? I'm not expecting to earn my living, but I wouldn't mind a couple of quid for the work that goes into this stuff. Do you know what I mean? A few quid here and there, little side hustle thing, enough for I'd have to buy a couple of beers over the month. You know what I mean? It's anyway. Books. Um, I've not really dug up much in the shops lately. The exception being this, which came from a charity shop, Wilbur Smith's Shout at the Devil. One of those. I mean, Wilbur Smith, when I was a kid, he was one of those classic kind of dad authors. Like everyone's dads would read the like Neville Shute and Wilbur Smith and Alistair MacLean. And I think I was always, oh, well, that's going to be boring. As people's dads read that stuff, Freddie Forsyth and people. And, I'm probably more inclined to give them a shake, pardon me, at my time of life. Being that sort of dad age myself, or granddad age really. But this one, I think I have this, I know I've seen the film, I think a long time ago. I think I probably have it confused in my head with the African Queen, which I suppose geographically at least deals with the same continent, but I'm slightly confused between the two. This is the one that has Roger Moore and Lee Marvin and Parkins in the film, and there's the classic, I don't know who this actor is, but there's one of those classic shamanic villains, one of the Imperial Umpapa, what do they call that, Pickelhauber varieties, well, that sort of fierce, pugnacious Kaiser Bill moustache on him. I think there must be some sort of colonial troops, auxiliaries or whatever, that he's got doing the dirty work for him there. So yeah, I don't really remember a lot about this except the riverboats, pre-First World War or cusp of First World War, European colonialism and gunfire and malaria maybe. Anyway, so maybe I'll get around to that. But it's hard to find old stuff in charity shops. Actually, I don't think they tend not to stock anything but more recent stuff. So that was, I suppose, a bit of a find. But anyway, that's me done for now. I hope everyone's doing all right out there. I hope not everyone's getting the viewing carnage that I've been getting, but I'd appreciate any feedback or anything on that front. Anyway, that's me. Thanks a lot, and catch up soon.